Dropped an M&M down here.
Why, you... A hot one, medium rare.
Lunchtime, get back to work. Any more stalling and I'll throw you off the building.
Yes, sir. Hot stuff coming up. A hot one. A hot one. Look her up. Look her up.
Disassembly is pretty straightforward. All you really need are some basic hand tools, maybe a multi-screwdriver and an adjustable wrench. Start by taking the 5K screws out. It's very important to act like you've never handled hand tools in your life. You'll see this throughout the video. Once you remove the case screws, go on ahead and remove the 2 screws holding the top onto the top of the gear cover. Then feebly use a wrench to remove the hand crank. I found it easier to separate the case from the outlet end. I had applied a cork gasket to this a couple years ago, and it definitely gummed things up. Then it's best to get on in there and remove that fan. If the bolt's not in an easy spot, it might take you a minute, especially if it's frozen. Remove the 3 screws holding the housing to the gear body. This bottom bolt acts as an adjustment for the pinion that the fan is attached to. It may have also been used as a drain bolt. Remove the two set screws holding the gears onto their shafts. Remove the pin securing the shaft. There she is. It's a mean pin. Carefully tap the shaft out. Check all your gear teeth and your keyways. I tried a few times to remove the second gear, but it wasn't budging and I didn't want to press my luck with it, so I just let it go. But you can see all the gunk build up in the bottom of the case. I was left with enough room to clean it effectively just by removing that first gear. And here you have it, all broken down. I brought these parts home and soaked them all in a mixture of simple green and water. Be sure to scrape any old gasket material off should it be present. This fan was beat up when I first got it. All the blades were folded over and one was missing. You can see the horrendous, where is it? There it is. See that horrendous braze job I did. But it works. Alright. Eine Woche später. Alright, as you can see, everything cleaned up quite nicely. The lady in the paper still kind of grumpy looking. And I didn't scrape my gasket material off like I told you to. Start by reinstalling the adjustment screw in that drain plug. See the nut has a boss to it? There you go. Make sure that's up against the gear case. You can see here how much movement that shaft actually has. It doesn't go out of adjustment with this larger gear, but keep in mind that your fan will be attached to the side I'm holding. I want to take as much movement out of this as possible. I don't want to remove it all. I want to give it some room to move, but I want to minimize it. Now, I'm thinking that's pretty good. We're going to go with it. So I'll tighten this nut down. And of course move my adjustment. But we're going to go with it. It's still moving. Next, we'll reinstall this gear. I know my grease is upside down. It's a long story. Alright, when you're putting the shaft back in, make sure that groove is oriented as such. That's where your pin's going to lock into. And bear in mind you do have that keyway up top to correspond with the keyway in your gear. And just edit all the struggle out so it looks like you did it pretty easily. Shaft should be flush with the backside there. And reinstall your pin. Now I made the mistake when I put this in, I pushed it in pretty damn far and I don't know if I'll be able to get it back out. We'll find out. Now you do have this set screw in the gear too, so if you do have any rubbing or binding, you can adjust that gear on that shaft and then tighten your set screw down. I had a pretty easy time, everything was moving nice. Now we're going to put the shroud back on. This has loosened up on me last time I put this together, so this time I'm going to put a little blue Loctite on my screws. And by a little, I mean a very liberal application of Loctite. Here's another excellent display of my dexterity. Look at this. Perfect. Anyway, cinch all those down nice and tight. I'm going to go ahead and put the fan back on, and just remember it doesn't go on the way you think it should. Yeah, this ain't going to work. You got to flip this over and put that set screw in an impossible place to reach. And tighten that up. I didn't feel like doing a cork gasket this time, so I'm going to use this Permatex this time around. Make sure both your mating surfaces are clean. And do the best you can to get a consistent bead. This smaller bottle didn't come with an applicator tip, so I just had to kind of smear it around. But for the application, I'm sure it's going to be alright. So put the top half of the shroud on carefully, and you're only going to want to finger tighten your screws from this point. You want this to set for about an hour before you go ahead and tighten it all the way. Getting the setup back on the forge now. I'm going to drop both screws in, but I'm going to tighten one side down and leave the other side loose so that when I tighten the case up, it should cinch it together. A little sneaky through the gear trick to get this guy going. Look at that wrench handling. That's some pro stuff. And what is that? Who holds a wrench like that? So dainty. And now you can go back and make sure your screws are tight, holding the tube. Find your notch for your handle. I'm using a much lighter oil this time. Last time I used gear oil, it was way too heavy, way too thick. On cold days, I could barely get this thing spinning until it had some good heat in it. I'm actually just using ballast all now. Let's see how this goes. Put your top cap back on. You see in the middle there is an oil port, so you don't have to keep taking this thing apart every time you want to oil it. And there you go. That's it. If your fan's rubbing, you can try adjusting that bottom screw. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this was useful. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.